What's up, YouTube? Brett Hoover from RANTS here. Alright, so y'all probably already heard by now, but of course, you know, the Simu Liu, I think it was a Reddit post where Simu Liu actually said some really homophobic and sexist comments. Really in-depth comments. This isn't like some tweet that could be misconstrued by any stretch of the imagination. Now, they haven't confirmed completely and totally that it was him, or that it was his accounts that did it completely, but it is assumed that it is. And if it is, do you believe that this is the end of Simu Liu in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? I would say 50-50. 50-50. Marvel doesn't mind controversy. It doesn't mind controversy as long as the actors or actresses toe the line from a political standpoint. That usually is where they are on most things. However, when it comes to what Simu Liu said, I mean, it was some pretty vile stuff, and it was some really in-depth stuff. Like, it was not one of those moments where you go, okay, could have been misconstrued. No, it was really in-depth, and it was really long, and he come off as really someone that's really stupid. I'll just flat out say it, just really incredibly stupid. To post, I mean, if it was him that really posted that, I would almost say, you know what, Marvel would have a right to fire him simply over idiocy. Because whether you're an actor, whether you're a doctor, whether you're a teacher, whether you are a cop or whatever you may be, you have to be incredibly dumb to post, even on the farthest fringes of the universe, post something so out there and so demeaning towards, you know, whether it be homosexuals or whether it be towards women, and think that that thing won't resurface at one time or another. Because if you live in the real world, you'd be fired for those, for what he said. You'd be fired. And usually in Hollywood, they're fired for a lot less. Or not fired, well, yeah, fired in some cases. But like I said, Hollywood is a fickle beast in a way. I do believe that Marvel probably will try to send him on an apology tour, and depending upon whether or not it works or the backlash, just how bad the backlash really is. Because, you know, at the end of the day, they do realize one thing. A lot of the people that they pander to don't really come out to see their movies. So they might feel like they can get away with it, and that, you know what, they can have a Twitter uproar, and or someone will boycott some movies, and if fans still will go and see it, then all power to it. But I think in this one, they're kind of got normies and really comic book fans kind of in the same boat on this one. There's certain things that you can say, like I said, that can be misconstrued. But this was some really vile stuff that he was saying. And I'll be honest, I feel like if Marvel keeps him, that they wouldn't be doing, they'd be doing not just themselves a disservice, but they'd be doing Hollywood a disservice. Hollywood doesn't need somebody like Simu Liu. Just doesn't need someone like Simu Liu if he really did say those things. If he really did say those things, it's hard to see him having a career. Really is. You know, Marvel has been talking about diversity in their movies. It is going to look bad if they do fire him over this. If these alleged comments were found out to be made by him, there's gonna be some people that, and probably even Simu Liu himself, is gonna say, well, you fired me not because of what I said, but because of my race or whatever. you're probably going to get that, especially from Simu Liu. It would not shock me one bit from Simu Liu. But I don't really think anybody would have a leg to stand on, not even him when it comes to that. Because, like I said, if he might fight to the very end and say, even if it's 100% sure that it was him that said it, he might just continue to fight it and say, I never said those things. And you know what? It's kind of tragic if he didn't say those things, that his name's been run through the mud like this. I don't wish that upon anybody. But I'm telling you, if he did say this, I would fire him on idiocy alone. I really, truly would. You can be a free speech absolutist and still fire somebody for saying what he said. Not necessarily what I would say a free speech absolutist. I do believe that, when you are working for a company, when you are working or even promoting yourself and your family around you, I believe that anything that comes out of my mouth reflects upon my family. So therefore, I wouldn't say certain things. But even if I felt a certain way, I wouldn't necessarily say it. Or unless I'm really big on fact-based sayings. I don't just care about throwing out my political opinion or my opinions over certain things unless I can back it up with proven facts. A lot of people, unfortunately, especially millennials and people like Simu Liu, apparently, if he did this, don't do that. They say whatever comes to their mind. They get into discussions that they should never have any business of getting into in the first place. That is personally where a lot of people go wrong. And they can say, well, that's cancel culture that could get him. I don't believe it's cancel culture in this instance. I believe if he was found out to really say the things that he said, I don't think it's cancel culture that fired him. I think it's himself. I think it's his own idiocy. You should know that if you want to live in the 21st century and be successful in whatever career you are, you've kind of really watch what you say on social media sites. I mean, you've really got to watch what you say on social media sites. And the fact that he was so stupid, I keep going back to the word stupid, to think that wouldn't resurface it's beyond me. It's beyond me. Even when Roseanne made the comments that she made, she at least said, well, I was on a medication when I did it. At least she had a good, or at least come up with a reason to say those things that she said. But those pale in comparison. Really, anything that I've heard, when it comes to language police, this was so different than anything I've heard from any Hollywood actor before. I've heard Hollywood actors make incredibly stupid tweets, incredibly vile tweets, but it's tweets, and they could blow it off and say, well, it was misconstrued. You can't misconstrue what Simu or what these posts said. You couldn't misconstrue it. It was so in your face, and it was vile in a lot of ways, and it was meant to be hateful. And so, you know what? I kind of feel like Marvel, if you do decide to put him in Shang-Chi 2, probably making a really serious mistake. You're hurting your own credibility at that point, because you can't go out there and talk about inclusion when you are doing backhanded things like allowing something like that to take place. You already have the Scarlett Johansson blowback. Do you really want to push it with Shang-Chi? Because Shang-Chi is not exactly A-rated franchise. It's not at that echelon. So, I mean, I personally, if I was Marvel, I would have fired him yesterday. I would have fired him as soon as it came out. Because anytime, unless it's 100% found out that he did not say it, if there's any doubt, even 1% or even a hint of doubt in people's minds, that could cause serious blowback that Marvel doesn't need right now, and Marvel doesn't want right now. But anyways, it would not shock me if Marvel sent him on an apology tour and said, you know what? Maybe fans will forget. Fans are fickle like that. Fans really, truly are. They completely and totally, they don't care what some of these actors and actresses say in some regards, and for the good and bad. I'm not saying that they should care what some of these actors or actresses say. I'm just saying from Marvel's standpoint, not just fan standpoint, but I'm talking about Marvel's standpoint in this. I feel like Marvel should be looking at him and go, you know what? He's embarrassed Marvel. And he's embarrassed himself. And right now, the things that he said, you can't make it into, well, he didn't mean to say it that way. There's none of that right now when it comes to these posts. So I feel like Marvel would do best to maybe, if they did do a Shang-Chi 2, maybe replacing him. Replacing. I don't think fans would care. I don't think he was, if you watch Shang-Chi, you're probably not thinking, you know what, Simu Liu made that movie for me. Probably not thinking that. I think there was more people that thought Aquafina made that movie than Simu Liu. Or made that movie work, if you were a fan of that movie. Which I actually thought it was actually a pretty good movie. And it did surprise me, but Simu Liu was not my favorite. I thought he did a decent job. I didn't think he didn't win me over by any stretch of the imagination, though. So I don't know. I feel like, you know what, it wouldn't shock me if Marvel maybe decided, you know what, we're going to keep him because it might look a little bit bad that we've been preaching diversity and then we fire the first protagonist that really was besides in Black Panther, that they could really say was really diversity oriented, which I wouldn't go so far as say Black Panther was. Black Panther is a top rated superhero. He's up there, very notable one. Shang-Chi was at the bottom of the rung. No one really knew or cared about Shang-Chi, even in the comic book world. So the very idea that fans would be in an uproar if whether this Shang-Chi got canceled, Shang-Chi 2 got canceled, or if they replaced the actor, I think would be absolutely and totally preposterous. But I think I could see Marvel overthinking it and being like, you know what, we might get blowback for firing him because of the color of his skin. I could maybe see that. I could maybe see them being afraid of Simu Liu because Simu Liu is notable about sharing his opinions, and seems like his whole worldview is based around race. So it would not shock me if he did come out against and really damage Marvel's reputation to a certain extent. But even I still feel like he doesn't have a leg to stand on if these posts really did come from him. I don't feel like he has a leg to stand on at all. I feel like they're so vile that the average person would look at it and go, you know what? I don't even want to see this guy. I don't want to pay money to make this guy rich. I think that would be the average fan. At least that's how I kind of feel towards it. I really don't want to make this guy rich. And of course, I don't just feel that way with Simu Liu. I feel that way with a lot of these actors. I don't really want to make them rich, especially the ones that come out and are like act like they hate the average person. The ones that go and see their movies. I don't like supporting them. I don't. But I feel like, this is a moral conundrum if you go out there and you support Shang-Chi or Simu Liu. After what he said, I feel like it'd be more of a moral conundrum than a political one. Where this isn't about getting your feelings hurt. This is about whether you morally want to hold this guy up to any favor by going to see his movie. I feel like that is going too far, and at least in my opinion. Now, other people might feel differently, and that's fine. If you want to go see his movies, that's fine. I personally wouldn't be that excited about Shang-Chi 2. I'd probably go see it because of what I do here on Rants or Us, but I would not necessarily want to, I after this don't want to go see his movies. I wouldn't probably go see Shang-Chi 2 if it wasn't based upon what I do here on Rants or Us. That's the way I feel towards it. But anyways, guys, let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. Do you think Marvel should fire him? Do you think he should just go on an apology tour? What do you think he should do? Because he's got to do something. It's one or the other. Might be both. Probably, I could see it very well being both. Where he gets fired from Marvel and then he still has to do an apology tour. Because he's still got to work. And I don't see anybody in Hollywood hiring him if these posts really did come from him. That's the way I look at it. But as always, guys, let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. And please, guys, if y'all enjoy these videos here on Rants or Us, please think about subscribing to this channel. It really helps us with YouTube ratings, and share these videos if you enjoy them. As always, guys, like I said, thanks for watching. Y'all take care.